Hi there all, my name's Reaper and welcome to DMT Journey of the Infant Mind. I decided to make this video because of all those interested in entheogens, psychedelics and all latest altered states of consciousness. New to this, I just want to try and make a video out there, try and get some information across because I try and share my experiences with other people and try and find on the internet things to help them out. And there are a lot of good people out there doing a lot of good work on DMT, but I personally find that I think a lot of hype and a lot of bullshit that goes with it. And DMT, especially with DMT, it can be a bit confusing and a bit misleading, and really sends people down the the wrong path. I think. But so I just wanted to put a video out there and make it just across to everybody on my views on the way I sort of might see things. I've had a lot of experience with this compound, a fair few other psychedelics over the years. I am making this video here specifically for harm reduction, and I don't condone the use of drugs or psychedelics in any other way other than for i.e. meditation or medical purposes. There is no fun to these things. They aren't a recreational substance. Not something you take with your mates down the party to have a great time with or run around like most people who die on these things because they've taken them and fallen off a cliff or jumped out of a moving car or something. It's a lot about set and setting. We'll talk about those things a lot later. But I just feel personally there's a lot of misleading information on the internet about DMT and a lot of hype of all, unicorns and rainbows and fluffy bears and everything's great. But it's not quite the case. And so for me, I just want to get my side of the story out. Right then, a little bit about me. My name's Reaper. I'm 40 years old. I'm a family guy. I live in Australia. I have a son who's mid-20s. I have a daughter who's fairly young. She's nearly turning 10. Got a beautiful wife of 16 years. As I was growing up, my father was in law enforcement, and my mother was a housewife, and she went to work a lot too. She was a security guard at one stage, so it was a bit weird. I've got a twin brother. Enjoyed surfing and different things growing up. I was in Boy Scouts. Did a lot of martial arts. Went to the military for a fair while after working. Well, not a fair while. I did all my training with the military and then decided it probably wasn't for me. So I got out of there, did a bit of welding and some manufacturing and things like that. And now I work as a store person, storeman, manager for a company locally where I live. I work 8 to 5 like everybody else, and I just want to get a regular person's eyes on this instead of all the hype and stuff that you see. Yeah. So back to me. I'm a normal guy. Had a bit of a traumatic time in my life there for a while. So a few years ago. So that's how I found my journey of the infant mind, as I call it. My journey finding DMT and what it did and what it didn't do, what it led to, and what it is and what it isn't for me and for other people. So rightio, I had a really bad time in my life a few years ago where my family left. And it was pretty traumatic. I didn't like it. The kids weren't happy with it. No one was really happy with it, but things weren't working, and it was just everyone's good decision. I had advanced cycling bipolar. Talk fairly fast, that's why. And so there, I was having a bit of a hard time going off and that sort of stuff, and didn't really realise I had a problem. And yeah, one thing led to another, and eventually I was on my own, and things weren't the best. So my wife's family's fairly religious, and I sort of thought, oh well, I might have a bit of a look at myself and try and work this stuff out for myself and see where I'm going wrong. So one thing led to another, and here I am now. But my wife's fairly religious, so I thought to myself I had to try and find an answer. So I researched many religions, the main ones, Christianity, Islam, the Israelites. I had a look at the Egyptians, the Mayans, a few Asian cultures, Sikhism, and just different things. I should be go to the Hindus and the Buddhas and all that sort of stuff. South Americans, crossed a lot of different religions around, try and find one. And as I was reading through all these religions, you find these guys, and these guys, they're like prophets. So you think, what? Think what? So there's all these different religions out there, and there's all these people that believe in these religious doctrines. So they're books. So we go through and we have a look at what a prophet is. A prophet in the dictionary of prophet is a person who serves as a channel, communication between the divine world to the human world. You find other descriptions of it as the same type of thing, but you find it as people that talk to the supernatural realm or the spirit world and bring it back to the normal world. So all these prophets, we've got our prophets, and so different variations of different prophets. Here we have, for instance, on the screen there we have Moses. And Moses was an exiled Egyptian prince, so therefore he wrote the 5 books of the Torah. But I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories of it, if he did or he didn't, or how many he wrote, or when he died, and all that sort of stuff. Just going to touch on a bit of this, how the story goes. Who we have Moses. He was a prophet, and he wrote the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. Just for keep's sake. Don't get too technical here. We're just trying to keep it simple. I'm not in here to get onto all these conspiracy theory things. I've looked at just about everything you nearly think of, but don't get yourself too wound up in it. All right then. So moving along, we have Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Hey, buddy. And he's essential for the Bible. That's debatable too, with Moses and the Torah and all the rest of that. I know, but bear with me. We have our prophets. And here we have Muhammad. And obviously, he's the prophet of Islam and the Quran. The Quran actually speaks of Jesus in that too. Here we have Enoch. Now, Enoch was the only guy in the Bible to actually walk with God. He was God's best mate. So therefore, he's a pretty important guy, I find. And he wrote the Book of Enoch. Well, the stories go from what he was saying that the Book of Enoch was written about him and the things that he saw in his life and how he spoke with God. Now, a religion. Here we are, all little people, look like lance running around everywhere. The world is controlled by religion, as in the fact that the governments in your main countries, the main Western worlds, and most countries, are either doctrined by Catholics, Catholicism, the Christians, Islam, whatever. So their governments are factioned under, or controlled by, and the rules of their followed religion. Right, so their religious doctrine comes from stories of people that were having these visions, i.e. prophets. So the prophets wrote the doctrine that we run society off. And then when you look, so all societies run by the prophets. There's the churches, Vatican for example, powerful place, and the justice system. So now we have these prophet guys who have written these books and put it across to humanity. Our government's controlled by that. They're sort of basing our laws and things, how we act and do things, how we persecute off these religious texts, these doctrines. Okay? You might not agree with it, but it's the truth. So that's just the way it goes. Now, the thing I find funny is these prophets, as you call them, guys that speak to the divine, that talk to the supernatural. If these days we go, oh, that guy's speaking to God, he's talking to ghosts, he's doing what he's doing, he's talking to the supernatural, he's talking to the divine, we're going to lock him up in a mental asylum. So, it's really strange how it's all worked out and things have come to be. And I find, what the fuck is going on? Why are all these religious texts that our whole societies follow and people look up to and believe in God and all these huge big structures that we build and run society, why are they run by blokes that had visions and wrote texts about it off prophets, people, crazy people, as we call them, nutters? Why the hell? How does that work? Why do we base society off something that's run by a bunch of nutcases? That's where I'm going to leave this slightly bit of the video. That's not what I think, and continue to watch for more. In the next video, I'll explain. But what we want to know is, really, these guys, these prophets, right? I read this religion and I started to research. I wanted to know why. How? How did these guys get these religious insights? How did they do it? What did they do? How? They didn't just get in the car or the horse and cart or jump on the magic carpet and go 2 bloody streets down the road, go to God Street, turn left, knock on door number 3 and hi God, here we are. So, how did they do it? How did Enoch visit God? How did Muhammad talk to God? How do they get their vision states and things like that? So that's what I'm going to explore in the next video. That's the question. Right. The next video we'll talk about that, how they did it, and we'll go from there. I don't want to make the video too long, you'll probably get bored with them. We'll see how we go. Alright, thanks for watching this first video. My name is once again AM Reaper. This is Journey of the Infant Mind with DMT, and we'll touch on other psychedelic compounds of the religious nature. Alright, and then we'll get back to the story of me, my experiences, show to you, and try and help everybody else out there, either or with DMT or without. I don't condone the use of these things. They are becoming therapeutic these days, i.e. In Australia at the moment at the St Vincent's Hospital in Melbourne, one of the big cities here, they've offered psilocybin treatment to people that are terminally ill. So that's a pretty interesting type of thing. We'll touch on those subjects and that a little bit later too. But to start with, this was me, a little bit of story about me. This is a little bit of story about how society is controlled by religion, and religion is written by prophets, and prophets talk to the supernatural and the divine. And if these days, if you said you talk to the spirit world and ghosts, and we wrote a book about it and followed society, we'd lock you in a fucking mental asylum. So that's just one thing to think about. It's a funny thing. It's the way it goes, and we'll explore this a little bit more. So now the next question is, how did the prophets talk to God? All right. Peace out. Thanks for watching, and catch up with the next video. Drop us a like if you like them. Send us an email with the email down the bottom. Email jotham@gmail.com. I'll get back to you. Just give us a day or so. No worries at all. Don't have Facebook accounts and things like that, because these things aren't really good to portray all over the place, like the family or work. Right? Not trying to incriminate myself or anything. This is purely just for your information about religion, how things were found, and what's really going on, the way I see it. Right, thanks for watching. Ready for the next video. Peace. AM Reaper out. Cheers. Bye.